Hey gang. Well, right there, as you can obviously see, is the Bearcat football stadium. And last time I was up near this way was to record the 4th of July show that happened, of course, back in July. I am not a very good beginner of introducing a videos kind of guy. Yeah. Anyway. Tomorrow night, of course, by the time you see this video, it will be tomorrow night, September 1st, will be the first official game for the Boonville Bearcats, and of course, it will be happening right here. Of course, last year, I think they played here last year, and usually they kind of go, you know, like you play home game one year and away game the next year, but somehow, some way, they got a home game this year, so. And they're going to take on the Pea Ridge Blackhawks. Now, the thing is, the reason why I'm shooting a video up here is basically because, well, it's continuing on in this little series that I, again, just want to say I appreciate you guys watching, checking out, and always commenting on. And this one's pretty much about the Boonville Bearcat fans of this town. Honestly, gang, they are pretty insane. But there are also some that, I don't know, they seem kind of strange to me because, well, it's not very often I'll come up here at the beginning of a game, and when I do, I'll just try and sit quietly, or I'll go, you know, walking back and forth, you know, or all around, stuff like that, and you know, try to interact with people and try to talk to people and everything like that. But I have to be honest with you, gang, the fans who come up here are either loud, obnoxious, rowdy, and sometimes they'll leave out early. If it's about halftime, half the crowd here will leave out, whether the Bearcats are winning by a huge margin or they're losing. And honestly, it just seems like the fans here, that's all they seem to obsess over when it comes to close time to football season to start. And every year, you always seem to hear the same thing. Oh, we've got the best quarterbacks now. We've got the best kickers. We've got the best anything. The problem is that they can't seem to figure out how to win any more games. Several years ago, they went undefeated and they won the 4A state championship. The following year, they went down to 3A. And the rumors of the reason was, and of course this was confirmed by the coach at the time, is because Boonville lost a lot of people and they had to go back down to 3A. So, you know, okay, no big deal. So they went back down to 3A, and of course they had to get cocky because, of course, following, you know, the year after they won the big championship, they thought, oh yeah, we're going to dominate, we're going to kick butt, we're going to totally destroy all the other teams. But since they have won that state championship, well, they have not done that well. I think last year they went 4-7. Somehow, even with a record of 4-6, they somehow still made it in the playoffs. Nobody can figure out why, nobody knows how, but they did, and they lost their first playoff game. So, when it comes to the fans here, they are insane. In fact, there's one guy here who is probably the loudest of everybody. Now, he does not say, come on number 76, come on number 24, come on number 83 or anything like that. He will call players out by their names, and he will use foul language, and he will say all kinds of obscene stuff and everything like that. And I'm just like, man, throw this guy out. And I think it was about around last year, there was some guy who wore some sort of full-body purple suit. You couldn't see his face, you couldn't see anything, and he's running up and down the front part of that with a Boonville Bearcat flag. The only highlight I can say about this video is that there was a man here that used to come here all the time, and they called him Mr. George. And he could get the crowd riled up. No matter how much the Bearcats were losing badly, they could still he could still get the crowd riled up. He could still get everybody riled up and everybody try and cheer on the Bearcats, whether they were losing horribly or winning pretty good. So I guess in a way what I'm trying to say is that that there are just too many people around here that just get way too obsessed over these games. They honestly act like it's a life or death kind of struggle. If the Bearcats lose, it's the end of the world and everything like that. And I think that's another reason why there's just something about this town that just seems to be wrong with it, and that is the fact that the Bearcat fans, they're insane. They're insane people. I mean, I can understand you can be a football fanatic, but I mean, if you're a football fanatic over grown adult football players and sports teams like that, I can understand. But when it comes to a bunch of high school kids, you kind of take it a little too far. And there have been stories where a father would be so disappointed in his son who didn't quite win a game, the kid would get abused. And to me, that's kind of ridiculous too. But something else that really gets to me, and before I wrap this up, is that usually on Thursdays they'll have the Little League football. I think they call it the juniors or something like that. When the juniors come out to play, they hardly draw a crowd. You will not see as many people sitting in those stands as you would for a regular high school football game. And I think that's really, really messed up. I think that's kind of screwy. Seems like more people care about high school football. And the sad thing is, I think last year, they said the junior football team did better than the high school football team. Now for that, I had to laugh. I just couldn't help myself. But yeah, so there's another little video in this series talking about things I think are just wrong with this town, and I just had to talk about the football fans in this town, gang. They're just plain freaking nuts. You come here to the high school football games, you're going to hear people being louder and louder and louder and more obnoxious. You go to the junior games, like people just couldn't care less. So, will I be up here tomorrow night? Well, it depends on the weather and depends on, it just depends on the weather mostly and everything like that. But we'll see what happens, and if you're curious about the score tomorrow night, what happens, I'll try and put it in I'll try and answer that question for you guys. That is, if you're curious about it. But there you go, my little thing about the football fans in this town. How the Bearcats going to do at the end of the season? I wouldn't bet a whole lot of money that they're going to do very good. Take care of yourselves, guys, and of course, if you like my videos, always feel free to subscribe. Until next time, as always, stay strong and rock on.